Most men believe they know what women want. They think success, kindness, and being the perfect gentleman is enough. But here's the brutal truth. 98% of men fail with women, even if they do everything right. Why? Because since childhood, men have been programmed to be agreeable, safe, and invisible, and that very programming is what kills attraction. In this video, we expose the hidden psychology of women, the truths no one dares to tell you. Why being nice destroys desire. Why she ignores the perfect man but craves the one who doesn't care. How to break free from the friend zone and rewire your mind. And how to finally become the man women respect and secretly desire. This is not pickup advice. This is psychological warfare. And once you hear this, you'll never see women or yourself the same way again. Every man has heard the same advice growing up. Just be nice to her, be respectful, be a gentleman, treat her well, and she will choose you. On the surface, this sounds logical. After all, kindness is a virtue, and women say they want a kind, caring partner. But here is the paradox that destroys men's dating lives. Being the so-called nice guy is often the fastest way to kill attraction. Why does this happen? Because niceness, in the way most men practice it, does not come from strength, it comes from weakness. When a man is nice as a strategy to gain approval, he is not being genuinely kind, he is bargaining. He is silently saying, if I treat you well enough, will you please give me love in return? And women feel this desperation instantly. They may appreciate the gestures, they may even thank you for your efforts, but deep down, the attraction dies. Women do not fall in love with men who beg for affection. The tragic truth is that most men have been conditioned into this behavior since childhood. Parents, teachers, and society told boys to behave, to sit still, to please others, to avoid conflict. In short, be good and you'll be rewarded. This mindset might work in school or in the workplace, but in relationships, it creates men who are passive, approval-seeking, and afraid to upset women. In other words, it creates men who are invisible. Women are not attracted to invisibility. They are drawn to presence, confidence, and power. The nice guy hides his desires, suppresses his masculinity, and plays it safe. But safety is not sexy. Safety is comfortable. And women do not chase comfort, they chase excitement, mystery, and strength. Think about it. How many times have you heard a woman say, "He's such a great guy, but I just don't feel that way about him"? That is the essence of the nice guy illusion. The man checks all the boxes, polite, attentive, reliable, but he doesn't spark the fire. He doesn't make her heart race. Instead, he becomes the perfect candidate for friendship, not romance. The problem gets worse when the nice guy hides his true intentions. He spends months or even years being the caring friend, secretly hoping that one day she will wake up and see him as a lover. But to her, he has already been filed away in the category of safe, non-sexual companion. The longer he stays in that role, the deeper he digs his own grave. When he finally confesses his feelings, she feels betrayed because his niceness was never pure. It was a mask for his unspoken desire. This is why women often feel uncomfortable around men who are too nice. They sense that something is off, that the man's friendliness is not authentic but transactional. True kindness is given without expectation. But nice guys almost always expect something in return. Her attention, her affection, her body, and that hidden agenda poisons everything. The illusion of the nice guy is especially dangerous because it makes men resentful. When their efforts go unrewarded, they feel cheated. They think, I did everything right. I was respectful, loyal, attentive. Why does she choose the guy who treats her like she doesn't matter? This bitterness grows into anger, not just at women, but at themselves. And the cycle repeats. They double down on being even nicer, even more available, even more desperate. Each attempt pushes her further away. The truth is harsh, but liberating. Attraction is not built on niceness. It is built on polarity, tension, and the dynamic between masculine and feminine energy. A man who stands in his power, who knows what he wants, and who isn't afraid of rejection will always be more attractive than the man who hides his desires behind endless favors. Women respect men who respect themselves. So what does this mean in practice? It means the end of apologizing for your masculinity. It means showing your interest without shame. It means setting boundaries instead of bending over backward. It means living a life of purpose where you don't need a woman's approval to feel like a man. Ironically, when you stop trying to be liked, women start noticing you, because confidence, not compliance, is magnetic. The nice guy illusion has ruined millions of men's lives. It has created generations of frustrated, lonely men who do not understand why women overlook them. But once you break the illusion, everything changes. You stop seeking permission to exist, you stop playing the role of the obedient servant, and you start showing up as a man women can actually desire. Remember this: women do not fall for the man who sacrifices himself to please them. They fall for the man who is willing to walk away if his needs are not met. They fall for the man who gives love freely, but never bargains for it. They fall for the man who is kind because he is kind, not because he hopes it will earn him something. That difference is the line between weakness and strength, between being invisible and being unforgettable. On paper, the perfect man should win every time. He's successful, well-dressed, polite, dependable, and often even generous to a fault. He buys her flowers, pays for dinner, listens to her problems, and treats her like a queen. Yet over and over again, women turn away from him. They say, "He's great, but I just don't feel that spark." And while he's left scratching his head, wondering what more he could possibly give, she's already chasing the man who doesn't do half as much for her. To most men, this feels unfair, even insane. But in reality, it's the core truth of female psychology. So why does she reject the perfect man? The answer is simple, but difficult for many to accept, because he does not challenge her emotions. He does not open the primal, instinctive side of her attraction. He may impress her mind, but he does not move her heart or body. Attraction is not a checklist. It is a deep, visceral force that cannot be negotiated or bought. Women do not fall in love with what is comfortable. They fall in love with what stirs their soul. The perfect man makes a critical mistake. He prioritizes her above himself. In doing so, he unconsciously communicates that she is the prize and he is the pursuer. At first, this flatters her ego. She feels wanted, desired, even adored. But very quickly, it becomes predictable. And what is predictable becomes boring. Once she knows she has him completely, she no longer feels that electric sense of possibility. There is no chase, no tension, no uncertainty. The game is over before it begins. Meanwhile, the man who doesn't care, the one who isn't afraid to walk away, creates a completely different emotional experience. He is not rude necessarily. He simply values his time, his life, and his mission above her approval. He doesn't rearrange his entire world for her. He doesn't apologize for who he is, and because of that, she feels something she doesn't feel with the perfect gentleman: excitement. Excitement born from unpredictability, mystery, and the sense that she has to earn his attention. The irony is brutal. The harder a man tries to be perfect for her, the less she desires him. The less he tries, the more she chases. This is not because women want to be mistreated. It is because women, like all humans, are wired to value what they must work for. When something is handed to them without effort, it loses its shine. A man who throws his entire heart at her feet before she has invested anything in him creates an imbalance. She feels the weight of his devotion, but she doesn't feel attraction. In fact, she feels pressure, and pressure suffocates desire. Think of it this way. Imagine you are handed a trophy without running the race. At first, it feels good, but very quickly the trophy becomes meaningless because you did nothing to earn it. The man who makes himself too available, too perfect, too willing to please is that trophy. He robs her of the joy of pursuit, the thrill of conquest, the satisfaction of earning his love. And without that, her attraction withers. There is another layer to this dynamic: polarity. Attraction is born out of contrast, masculine and feminine energy meeting in tension. The perfect man often dilutes his masculinity in an attempt to be safe, agreeable, and non-threatening. He tones down his desires, his opinions, even his boundaries, thinking this will make him more likable. But what he actually does is strip himself of the very qualities that ignite her feminine essence. She cannot surrender into her softness when she senses no strength in him. Instead, she feels like she is in control, and control kills attraction. This explains why she ignores the man who bends over backwards for her, yet obsesses over the one who doesn't chase her. The second man embodies independence. He lives his life on his terms, and she must step into his world rather than pull him into hers. He doesn't need her validation to feel whole, and paradoxically, that makes her want to give him validation. She wants to prove herself worthy of his attention because he is not giving it away cheaply. Here lies the painful truth. Women respect and desire men who respect themselves first. When a man makes her his world, she loses interest. When a man makes his mission his world, she wants to be part of it. The perfect man gets rejected not because he is bad, but because he is predictable, self-sacrificing, and too easy. Women crave the emotional roller coaster of not knowing exactly where they stand, of having to earn affection, of wondering if they can capture the man who doesn't chase them. To the perfect man, this feels cruel. He cannot understand why she runs after the man who gives less, who seems indifferent, who is not half as kind or invested. But from her perspective, it makes sense. She is not consciously choosing drama over stability. She is unconsciously responding to her biology. Her attraction system is ancient, hardwired to seek out strength, confidence, and independence. A man who is too perfect, too available, too willing to please signals weakness. He signals that he has no other options, no abundance, no life outside of her, and that is the ultimate turnoff. If you want proof, look at your own life. Think of the women you once chased, the ones you gave everything to. Did they stay? Now think of the women who seemed to want you more when you were busy, unavailable, or focused on yourself. The pattern is undeniable. It is not about being cruel. It is about being complete within yourself so that she feels she has something to step into, not something to control. The rejection of the perfect man is not random. It is the natural result of a flawed strategy. A man who places himself beneath the woman who gives everything before receiving anything removes the tension that fuels desire. He becomes safe, predictable, and easy to control. And what is easy to control cannot be deeply desired. This does not mean you should become cold, unkind, or disrespectful. It means you must lead with strength, not supplication. You must value your mission, your standards, and your time more than you value her approval. Because when you do, you become the rare man who triggers both respect and attraction. She does not want the man who hands himself over completely. She wants the man she must win. The so-called perfect man fails because he misunderstands what women truly crave. They don't want a servant. They don't want a man who worships them unconditionally from day one. They want a man who knows his worth, who stands firm in his identity, and who invites them into his world without begging. They want the challenge, the chase, the polarity. And until a man understands this, he will continue to be rejected, not because he is too flawed, but because he is too perfect in all the wrong ways. This is why she rejects the perfect man. Not because he isn't enough, but because he gives too much. Not because he lacks value, but because he gives away his value without asking for anything in return. The moment he stops doing that, the dynamic shifts. The moment he values himself above her approval, he becomes the kind of man she cannot ignore.
Few words strike more frustration into the heart of a man than these. "You're such a good friend." For many men, the friend zone feels like a prison, a place where all their effort, patience, and loyalty are rewarded not with love or desire, but with a polite smile and a pat on the back. They listen to her problems, they support her dreams, they sacrifice their time, and yet when it comes to romance, they are invisible. Worse still, they watch as she runs into the arms of another man who may not even treat her half as well. To the man trapped in the friend zone, it feels cruel and unjust, but the truth is far simpler and far harsher. The friend zone is not a place women put men into. It is a place men put themselves into. The friend zone is not about bad luck or being too nice. It is the natural result of how a man presents himself. From the very first interactions, a man communicates where he stands. He either enters her world as a potential lover or as a safe, platonic figure. If he hides his attraction, masks his desire, or downplays his masculinity in fear of rejection, she unconsciously categorizes him as non-sexual. Once this impression is set, it is extremely difficult to change. That is why men often feel stuck. They played the role of the harmless friend for too long, and now they are invisible as men. Here is the brutal reality. Women want to feel desired, but they do not want to feel pressured. The man in the friend zone often confuses the two. He buries his attraction under endless favors, thinking she will figure it out one day. He plays the long game, waiting for some magical moment when she will realize that he has been the one all along. But that moment never comes, because she never saw him in that light to begin with. His strategy of patience and passivity is not romantic, it is self-sabotage. Worse still, when he finally confesses his feelings after months or years of friendship, she often feels blindsided. To her, the entire friendship now feels like a lie. She thought his kindness was genuine, but now it is revealed as a bargaining chip. She feels betrayed because the foundation of the relationship was never honest. This is why so many confessions from the friend zone end in disaster. It is not because women are cruel. It is because the man built a house of cards and one admission of desire knocked it all down. Escaping the friend zone requires a complete reprogramming of the mind. The first step is to understand that attraction is not something you can earn with time, effort, or sacrifice. Attraction happens when polarity exists, when masculine and feminine energy collide. A man who hides his masculinity cannot create this polarity. A man who avoids risk, avoids rejection, and avoids being clear about his intentions cannot create tension. He is safe, and safe is the opposite of sexy. The key is honesty, not reckless, aggressive honesty, but a quiet confidence in expressing desire. When you are interested in a woman, you must let her know, not by begging, not by pressuring, but by showing through your actions and presence that you are a man who sees her as a woman. This does not mean rushing, nor does it mean demanding. It means being unafraid to stand in your masculine energy. If she rejects that, so be it. You walk away with your dignity intact. But if she never even sees that side of you, she will never have the chance to desire you. Many men resist this because of fear. They fear rejection more than anything. So they hide behind friendship, thinking it is a safer strategy. But in truth, friendship without desire is not safety. It is slow death. Rejection is temporary. The friend zone is permanent. Which is worse? Another essential step is to stop pedestalizing women. Men in the friend zone often make the woman their entire world. They orbit her, they worship her, they cancel their own plans for her, they act as her emotional therapist. In doing so, they place her above themselves, which instantly kills attraction. A woman cannot respect a man who does not respect himself. The moment you make her the sun around which your life revolves, you cease to exist as an equal. You become a servant, not a lover. To escape, you must flip the dynamic. Stop asking for permission to be in her life. Stop waiting for her approval. Build your own life so strong, so purposeful, that she must earn a place in it. When you shift from chasing to leading, the energy changes. She feels it. Suddenly, you are not the passive friend waiting for crumbs of attention. You are the man she notices, the man she respects, the man she wonders about. And here is the truth most men don't want to hear. Sometimes escaping the friend zone means walking away entirely. If she has already locked you into that role, you may not be able to reverse it. Trying harder, being more patient, or confessing your love will not work. What will work is reclaiming your self-respect. By stepping back, focusing on yourself, and refusing to play the role of the emotional crutch, you send a powerful message, not to her, but to yourself. You are no longer a beggar. You are a chooser. The friend zone exists because men fear losing women more than they fear themselves. They compromise, they suppress, they bend, they tolerate. But women are not attracted to compromise. They are attracted to clarity, to boundaries, to men who know who they are. Escaping the friend zone is not about tricks, lines, or manipulation. It is about reclaiming your authenticity. It is about being willing to risk rejection in order to live as a man. Remember this, the friend zone is not her prison for you. It is your prison for yourself. You built it the moment you hid your attraction, the moment you valued her approval over your truth, the moment you chose comfort over risk. The door has been unlocked the whole time. You only need the courage to walk through it. Escaping the friend zone is not about getting the girl. It is about getting yourself back. When you stop living in fear of rejection, when you stop playing the role of the invisible best friend, you open the door to real attraction. Not just with her, but with every woman you meet. Because women cannot desire the man who hides. They can only desire the man who shows up unapologetically as himself. That is the man she respects. That is the man she desires. And that is the man you must become.
Every man wonders what it takes to be the kind of man women not only notice, but truly respect and deeply desire. The answer is not about tricks, pickup lines, or external status symbols. It is not about being rich, handsome, or endlessly charming, although those things can help. The foundation of respect and desire is something much deeper, the energy of a man who is whole, confident, and rooted in his purpose. This is the man who doesn't need approval, who doesn't chase validation, and who lives life on his terms. This is the man women cannot ignore. First, let's talk about respect. Respect comes from strength, not physical strength alone, but inner strength. A man who respects himself sets boundaries. He does not tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or games. He is not cruel, but he is firm. He knows what he stands for, and he will not compromise his integrity to please others. Women respect men who refuse to bend their values just to be liked. Why? Because a man who cannot protect his own boundaries will never be able to protect hers. Subconsciously, she knows this. If you are too eager to please, too willing to say yes, too afraid to walk away, you do not inspire respect. You inspire pity, or worse, indifference. But respect alone is not enough. A woman may respect her boss, her teacher, or her father, but that does not mean she desires them. Desire is something else entirely. Desire is primal. It is sparked not by safety, but by polarity, the electric tension between masculine and feminine energy. Masculinity is not about being domineering or aggressive. It is about presence. It is about the man who takes up space unapologetically, who knows what he wants, and who moves through the world with certainty. Feminine energy longs to relax, to surrender, to be led into experiences. But she can only do that in the presence of a man strong enough to hold that space.
Without that strength, she feels nothing. The man women desire is not the one who gives them everything. He is the one who challenges them. He does not bow to their moods or demands. He listens, but he is not controlled. He provides stability, but he is not predictable to the point of boredom. He is grounded, but also free. He is focused on his mission above all else. His purpose drives him, and she is drawn to that fire. She wants to be close to it, to bask in it, to be chosen by it. Women do not crave men who orbit them. They crave men with gravity, men whose lives are so full of meaning that they pull others into their world. Think of the men women obsess over. They are rarely the men who wait hand and foot on them. They are the men who seem unshakable, who cannot be easily swayed, who have a vision for their lives. Even if those men are flawed, even if they are rough around the edges, their certainty is intoxicating. Women want to feel chosen by a man who doesn't need them. Because when he chooses her, it means something real. It means she has earned a place in the life of a man who already stands strong without her. This is the paradox of desire. The less you need her, the more she wants you. Neediness is repellent. It signals weakness, lack, and desperation. Independence is magnetic. It signals strength, abundance, and self-sufficiency. When you value yourself, when your life is already full, you do not chase, you invite. And that invitation is infinitely more powerful than begging. Now let's break down the traits of the man women both respect and desire. He leads himself first. Before he leads others, he takes full ownership of his life. He doesn't blame, doesn't complain, doesn't wait for permission. He makes decisions, he accepts consequences, and he learns from them. This leadership is what makes women trust him. He sets boundaries. He knows what he will and will not accept. He does not tolerate disrespect, and he does not trade his values for approval. His no is firm, and his yes is intentional. This consistency builds respect. He lives his mission. His work, his passion, his vision, these come first, not in a way that neglects love, but in a way that creates gravity. A man without purpose is adrift. A man with purpose is unstoppable. He expresses desire without fear. He is not ashamed of wanting a woman. He does not hide behind friendship or politeness. He makes his attraction clear through his presence and actions without being needy. This honesty ignites desire. He is abundant. He does not see one woman as his only chance at happiness. He lives in a mindset of choice, not scarcity. Because he is whole on his own, he is never desperate. And that abundance makes him endlessly attractive. He can walk away. This is the ultimate test. A man who cannot leave is a man who can be controlled. A man who is willing to walk away, even from beauty, is a man who is free. And freedom is irresistible. When you embody these traits, you stop chasing women altogether. You no longer see them as the source of your value. Instead, they become drawn to you naturally. Women desire men who make them feel safe and alive, respected and challenged, cherished and desired. They want a man they can admire, a man they can trust, a man they can surrender to without fear. That man is not perfect, but he is powerful. He is not flawless, but he is fearless. He is the man who respects himself above all else. And because of that, women respect and desire him too. Understand this. The goal is not to manipulate women. The goal is to become the man you are meant to be. A man who is strong, confident, and rooted in his mission will never have to beg for respect or desire. He commands it simply by existing in his authentic power. And when women encounter such a man, they know instantly he is different, he is rare, he is unforgettable. This is the man women respect and desire. Not the man who chases, not the man who begs, not the man who gives away his power for attention,
but the man who stands tall in who he is, who lives fully, and who invites her into his world without apology. Be that man, and you will never have to wonder why women choose you. They will feel it, they will show it, and they will never forget it.